Hey everybody, Thursday afternoon here at QualiFi. Welcome to our show of Unfinished Business. Today we have one of our OGs from the startup of QualiFi, Nolan Kelly, as our guest, one of our funding managers here. We're going to talk a little about Nolan's journey, prior to QualiFi and coming on to QualiFi. And say hello, Nolan, to the audience.
Hey guys, thanks for first of all having me on, Ed. Been thinking about doing this for a while, and when the idea came, I was jumping out of my chair to be the first one on. So a little upset I wasn't the first guest, but second or third will do.
Yeah, you're not too shy. You're first one to jump at the opportunity.
Yeah, I was ready. But no, yeah, I guess we can just get right into it. Like you said, one of the OGs was here in the start of the company back in April of 2022.
22 or 21?
22.
It was 22.
Yeah.
For some reason, my mind keeps going back to 21. Okay.
Yeah, this will be next month's our 2-year anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah. So, just local guy. Grew up in Philadelphia, like Ed. Moved out to Delaware County when I was in 9th grade. Met a couple solid dudes out there. Played some sports. That's where I met a gentleman named Mark Dever, one of my good buddies, who is actually Gia DeAngelis, Eddie's daughter's boyfriend. And been lifelong friends, and that's kind of how the opportunity landed me here. Eddie was starting this company again and kind of needed young, hungry sales guys, and Mark threw my name in the ring, and I was ready to go. So yeah. That's where we started. And
I remember the first day Gia reached out to me, said, "I want you to talk to Nolan, one of my friends." I knew who you were, but I didn't know you that well. And I remember the first call, I was in the basement in the office calling you, and I got off the phone. I said, "Man, that dude's a natural sales guy. He's got the gift of gab." And the first call went pretty well. Came in shortly after I interviewed you, and that was the beginning of it. Talk to us a little bit about, where'd you go to school, what'd you go to school for, and any kind of prior work experience.
Yeah.
Prior to QualiFi.
Yeah, absolutely. So I graduated from Marple Newtown High School. After that, I spent a year and a half at Penn State main campus. I like to party a little bit, so I had to come back home and finish my degree at Brandywine. But graduated from Penn State, and after that, my first job actually out of college was real estate management and property development. So there was a lot of portfolios that I would go and look into. I wouldn't consider it so much a sales job as what I'm doing now. I definitely had the opportunity to, link with people as well as, be under the kind of the guise of a salesman, but I couldn't control any, rates or terms or really do better for my clients. We had a really strict underlying budget of what we had to do and what we had to accomplish. So it was kind of a salesman role. Sales position with handcuffs on is the way I like to say it. Now, where I think I get, majority of my natural salesmanship is my mother and father owned a bar in Philadelphia from the time before I was born until I was about 5. After that, I've been in the restaurant industry for my whole life. I started bussing tables and running food when I was 14, so all I did was interact with, people, customers, guests, staff, from the time I was 14. I also worked as a game operator at Maurice Piers down in Wildwood.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I was one of the...
A lot of sales there,
yeah, so I was one of those guys, quarter to play, dollar to win, prize every time. And I started doing that when I was 14 every summer. So I kind of had that experience really early on and never really had that fear of talking to people or, saying anything to a random person. I learned a long time ago. Probably learned it at Maurice Piers actually with one of my mentors there. He was like, "Hey, the worst thing they can do is not talk to you." Yeah. And it's just another one passing by.
Nothing to lose, everything you gain.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. So, I definitely think that ingrained in my mind when I was young. And then, like I said, working at the restaurant up until, I think I was still working at the restaurant when I started here.
You were at Tavola, I think you were at Tavola.
Yeah, I was at Tavola, yeah. So I was there for about 8 years.
And you were still doing the real estate too. You were working both jobs.
Yeah, so
getting your grind on.
I was trying my hardest, just, ingratiating, trying to build my book of business here. And it was fresh, it was new. I was training. We went through a wonderful training program for 2 months. It was a whole new atmosphere for me. I didn't go to college for finance. I'm really not a great math guy, honestly. But after Ed took us on that 2-month training experience and really taught us the ins and outs of the business and gave us, all the information that he had to offer, which was fantastic. It gives you a really good grasp on, even in the beginning, just the little things, get you through the day. And then throughout my last 2 years here, the ongoing training and support has just been unbelievable. Anytime I have a question or anytime I'm working on a big deal, Eddie or Jason, and now Johnny Crawford are right there if I have any questions. So it's just every day getting a little bit 1% better, and I'm really just continuing to grind and want to be one of the best one day.
That's awesome. I love it. So talk to me a little bit about, at any point did you know that you wanted to be in sales? Like for me, it was, believe it or not, it was totally different. I literally didn't start getting involved into really any sales until I was in my late 20s, almost 30 years old, and I never even knew I had a natural gift for sales. So for me, it was more like trial and error. I had a job at UPS for years prior to even getting into my first sales job. So did you know at a young age that this was like a natural gift of yours?
Yeah, it's funny you ask that, actually, because I remember even being in high school and even a little bit in college. That's a daunting question, right? When you're that age.
Yeah, sure.
Still almost a daunting question now. What do I want to be when I grow up?
Yeah.
And I knew deep down that everybody has dreams of grandeur. I want to be a professional athlete, or I want to be a celebrity.
Shortstop for the Phillies.
Obviously I'm still working on my fame and fortune, but I kind of realized one day, someone asked me, I was working at Tavola's, and it was right before I got my job with the real estate company. And, it's right between, and it was during COVID too, is when I got into the job marketplace, which was hard. I know Jaya kind of just missed that because she was in school.
Yeah, actually she had some issues with COVID during school too. She had a lot of her college, the first 2 years of it was remote. Right,
so when we were graduating, since I'm a little bit older, we got tossed right into the field, and it was like COVID was still happening. Right. So job interviews were hard to come by. Yeah. Positions weren't readily opening up. Nobody knew what was happening with the economy or the markets. So it was tough, nobody would even take interviews at that time. So I went back to the restaurant after I graduated and, just doing shifts and kind of, moseying my way through, and, working in the restaurant industry, you can see a lot of people, kind of grow roots there, and, I'll keep looking for a job, or an opportunity didn't present itself. I knew I didn't want to get stuck there. I loved working there, but I knew it wasn't a career that I wanted for myself. So I kind of asked myself one day, and I just said, man, what do I like doing? And I knew I liked talking to people. I just knew, I didn't know if it was a gift or, anything like that, but I just knew I loved talking to people. Even to this day, when I go out with my friends or if I go out with my family, I'm always seeing somebody I know. Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Talking to them. And, everybody's like, oh, man, you know everybody. And it's just from one little interaction I made, maybe a long time ago, or left an impression on somebody. So I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's, a natural gift that I always had, or, if it just kind of grew with age, but, it's definitely something that I've carried with me, and, I've used to my advantage. And, just even being in the supermarket and, saying hello to people and striking up conversation. And like our legendary teacher, Bob Sinton, says, the 3-foot rule. There's someone always 3 foot around you that, you have to make contact with them if they're 3 feet around you. You never know if it's going to turn into an opportunity, which is great. And, that's another thing. I know we can probably touch on that later, but the, Sandler training has been unbelievable. I don't want to get too far into it, but
yeah, it's fine.
Just and I know Eddie kind of probably feels this way as well, but just the opposite of what you think a salesman is and what a salesman truly is, it's a light years difference. When I first started, I thought I was going to be good because I could connect with people, I could talk fast, and I could talk people into doing things. When I did Sandler, I completely realized I was 100% wrong. It's the total opposite. You have to be nurturing, and you really have to care about your clients, and it's a process. It's not just what do you want? I'll get it for you. Bang, bang, goodbye. Not snake oil salesy. And even in the beginning, I had a tough time overcoming those objections. Just because it was so ingrained in my brain to go for the quick sale and be the speed up Johnny. But
well, we're used to just pushing for the sale. Natural instinct of a salesman is to try to close a sale, but through Sandler. So what no one's talking about is our Sandler training system that we kind of embodied into our culture, and Sandler changed my life. And just like Nolan, I was a little older than Nolan, we'll keep the age off the record for the time being. But when I lost my train of thought.
When you were starting out and when you met, Rich Geis.
So I've been in, I had a screen printing company for about close to 20 years. I've been in sales my entire life. And when I met Sandler in 2013, prior to getting into finance, I already thought I knew everything there was about sales. And when you dive into the Sandler training system, you learn pretty much everything that you don't know that you thought you knew. And it just makes you so much better, right? You don't know what you don't know is the great saying that I like to go by. And to this day, we still go, pretty much every week to Sandler training. And you just learn, it's all about, basic, and it's not about salesy techniques, or you think like a snake oil salesman professionally trained. It's more about learning just really quality skills that teach you, like active listening for one, right? 9 out of 10 sales guys don't listen. They're just talking, trying to think of the next thing to sell, and they're not paying attention. They're not taking notes during the transaction. They're not really understanding and getting the bond and rapport with the client. So Sandler really just teaches you how to listen and understand and ask really good questions. So we took that into our culture here. It's part of everything that we do. There's ongoing training. I like to say training, and more training, because I think that's been one of the biggest differentiators from QualiFi and some of our prior companies that really separates us. We truly believe in the training and ongoing reinforcement training. I think it's really making a huge difference. Nolan, one of your favorite parts of training, I think can't go by talking about training without mentioning the big Kahoot winner. You look forward to the Kahoots every day when training started, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a fun, interactive way to, learn and retain knowledge. But, really for me, and one thing that, kind of sets me aside in sales and everything I do in life is I'm extremely competitive. I know Eddie is as well. So just I hate to not be number one. Not even hate to lose. I hate not winning more than I hate losing. So, we would go in there every morning and, retain the knowledge that we had from the day before. And we were doing, 6-hour sessions at least every day.
Yeah, we're close to that.
Yeah, retaining that knowledge. And I wanted to be number one every day. So it was a great tool because I knew that, whatever question was going to be on there the next day, I wanted to get right. So I paid extra close attention, and I really enjoyed that. And even when we do it now during the holiday times and when we do our special Kahoots, I still strive to be number one.
Yeah, a lot of the guys like to jump in when we have new hires, and we do. So what Kahoot is, it's part of when we onboard a new sales team, we have, we call it QualiFi University, where we teach lender training, sales training, product training, and industry training. We go through, my entire journey from the finance industry from day one, and really deep into everything there is to know about the business. We try to teach everything that I've learned in not only in finance, but in my whole 30-year career. Try to pass that on to these young guys that are hungry and want to learn and continue to develop in their career as well. So Nolan looked forward. So every day we had a training that was probably about 4 to 5 hours, and the next morning we would have like an hour Kahoot session, which is very interactive. It's like a game challenge where it's an online game for those of you that don't know. Everybody logs in and we ask multiple choice questions, typically anywhere from like 40 to 60 questions. And it's a really, really fun, interactive way to do reinforcement training. So Nolan, loved the Kahoot, loved the challenge, and he's like me, even though I didn't play because I was running the show, the Kahoot. But we're both very, very competitive, like most sales guys that want to win. We hate to lose, and it's more than we love to win. So yeah, it was a big part of our training. Nolan looked forward to that. He won a lot of those trainings, a lot of those sessions, and it was just a fun way of our training to continue to learn.
Yeah, and one thing, Ed, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Not at all.
So one thing, I've kind of wondered, just being here and seeing the training that we've got and just how the training is developed over to the latest round of new hires. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, I was a part of the first training group.
Yeah.
So it was new for everybody. It was new water.
Yeah.
Do you think since that first training, because you've done about 4 or 5 of them since, has it changed entirely, or do you feel like, obviously it's changed for the better, but do you feel like it's completely different than the first round of training?
No, it's a great question. You're not missing much. There's not a ton of new information. Of course, we had to do some updates with some lenders that may not be in business any longer, or obviously with the interest rates going up, so we had to adjust and change some details like that. We are consistently trying to upgrade it and make it better and better, that 1% better rule that we live by here. So for example, we just added like some shadow sessions at the end of the training, where when we get into the sales training portion of it, where we'll have some of the reps, when they get on the floor, instead of just jumping on the phones and, you know, like a deer in headlights, we will have them accompany our funding managers on Zoom calls with their clients. So they actually get to do that, you know, full days for a week or two until they're comfortable jumping on their own phone calls and doing some Zoom calls themselves. It basically gives them a good understanding of how that conversation's laid out and how it's supposed to go. But there hasn't been a ton of changes, but we continually optimize it if we're bringing on a new lender, a new product. So that stuff's all going to be added in there. But for the most part, anything that we add to that manual, we're also reviewing that, as you know, in our Wednesday meetings, keeping you guys updated. So yeah, so I don't think you guys are missing out on anything at all. But of course, we're always going to update the training to the best of our ability to keep improving it.
Right, and I guess where I was trying to go, and I'm sorry to turn the interviewee to the interviewer, but what I was trying to ask
two-way conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. What I was trying to ask is, well, I mean, I guess I can put it this way. Do you feel more comfortable doing it now than you did the first time?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the first time it's something new. We're going through it, and we're analyzing the training, and I'm talking to Gia back and forth what we should do different. You know, obviously with the second time around, we have to line up the Kahoot questions, so we don't have to rechange everything around. But yeah, once I get into my zone in the training, always there's little nerves leading up to it with a new group, new people, new personalities. But once I get into the zone of actual training, that's when I become myself. So I love that atmosphere, and I love doing it. I love training. I love teaching it. It's just everything about the business I actually genuinely like doing. So it's easy. That part's easy for me.
Yeah, and that definitely shows during the training and just every day on the floor in here. You know, that's one thing that I love about this office. You know, I don't want to throw shade or anything at my past job that was very corporate, but you know, when I come in here every day, it really does feel like a family. You know. You feel like everybody cares about you. You're open to any conversation. You know, we laugh, we have fun, but we also know that there's work to be done. I mean, everybody knows that, you know, there's certain numbers that we have to hit, and that's, you know, but it's a unanimous goal. It feels like, you know,
100%. Yeah. We're big on culture, right? Obviously, we try to do everything we can to protect our culture here. I think a lot of companies miss the boat there when it comes to the people aspect. I learned a lot of that and how important that was in my prior job in the corporate world. So the people aspect of the business is, I think, really important and one of the biggest, right? You want to make your place of employment a place where people wake up Monday morning and say, "Oh shit, I got to go to work," and you know, you don't want that atmosphere. You want them to love to come into work, right, and look forward to actually getting in to the office and getting their week started. So we do our best to protect our culture. And yeah, we're all about the culture, building that family atmosphere, positive energy. Of course, we want accountability, we want everybody working, but at the same token, everybody here has a seat at the table, right? That's how we're trying to build the company. We're trying to get everybody rowing in the same direction, and the sky's the limit, you know?
No, absolutely. And, you know, one thing that, I mean, I've even mentioned to my friends and family, you know, one of the best things about the job for me and, you know, being in this career and being at QualiFi is, I remember being at previous jobs and, you know, always looking at the clock. When the hell the day is going to end?
Yeah, our day's flying pretty quick.
What time is it? Oh man, it's only 3 o'clock. Oh, I got 2 more hours. I rarely ever look at the clock here.
Yeah.
You know, none of my days feel like I'm counting down the minutes to go. You know, there's most times where I don't even realize it's 5 o'clock and I'm still working.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, to me, you know, when somebody asks, you know, well, what do you want in a job? What do you want in a career? That's one thing that's extremely important. You know, don't be in a place where you're looking at the clock and striving to go home. You know, obviously everybody wants to go home. Everybody needs their time, but it's one thing to, you know, have the day fly by so fast and just be so enjoyable and chasing deals, and, you know, every day's a new journey. Like you say all the time, and like we all know, every phone call is an opportunity and, you know, a chance to meet new clients and, you know, help another business succeed in a way that, you know, they might not have before if, you know, they connected with somebody else that, you know, wasn't so in tune to client experience like we are. So I feel like it's very rewarding in a way, as well as, you know, competitive and fun, which really works out for me.
We're trying to continue to further develop everybody. Like I said, it's training every week. We're trying to get 1% better. You never know when, you know, your next call could be your next $1 million, $5 million, $10 million deal. And we truly believe that, and we're trying to make that a reality every day. I want to circle back though. You were when you first started, you were with a class of 4, right? The first 4 new hires when we first started?
I was, yeah. Yeah, there
Class
was
of
4 of us, yep.
And you managed to be the only one out of the original 4. Unfortunately, they're still here today, so we call you the OG of the original starting class. What do you think kind of separated you from the pack to where you continue to do well and continue to pretty much make this a career for yourself? What do you think contributed to that? And you had some ups and downs along the way, right? What have you ever thought about giving up at any point? Like, talk to me a little about that. Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great question. Speaking on it from the beginning, I think what helped me the most is one, I retained the knowledge really easily from the training. The training was long enough and repetitive enough with the Kahoot and all the interactive training to where I retained the knowledge and felt comfortable to get on the phones and start calling clients. So, and I kind of busted out of the gate before a lot of the other people that were at my table with me with the new hires, and I started funding almost immediately. I mean, I think I had a $300K deal in my first month.
Yeah, you're not shy. You jumped on the phones pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And again, it comes to the training too. Everyone learns differently. We talked about that. You've seen how some people pick it up really quick, like yourself, and then others it takes a little bit more time and more, ongoing experience as you hit the ground running and start learning as you go.
Of course,
Some
yeah.
people need more hands-on experience where you learn to the actual training and took to the the visual and the audio training and picked it up pretty quickly.
Right, and it also goes back to that, as Eddie called it, a natural gift. I wasn't afraid to ever be on the phones. I was ready to...
Huge component.
Yeah, I wasn't ever afraid. I just wanted to jump in and, get my feet wet. Let's see where it goes. One thing I'll say about myself is I'm definitely not afraid of failing. I think that you have to try to at least know where you're at. So I had all the tools that Eddie could give me at that point. I just wanted to go and make it work. And then in my first couple months, I did extremely well, compared to maybe some of my counterparts, or just, I think even just as a new guy in the industry.
I think you led the whole team the first year.
Yeah, so, that was, I'm not going to sit here and say that wasn't a huge encouragement, but obviously it was. I mean, I was making, more money than I had ever before, and, I felt like I was like, wait, I really have this down. And then obviously, rates and terms and the whole market changed, and everybody kind of went through a rough patch. But to circle back to your question, in my rough months, did I ever think about giving up? And that answer would be no, just because, I knew it would always come back around. One thing that I pride myself on and keep myself very attuned to is my work. I know that I'm putting enough work in every day. And I know that if I keep doing what I'm doing, maybe I have to tweak a few things in my game. Maybe I'm going back and talking too fast and acting like that snake oil salesman. But I know once I tone that back, I'm going to be ready to, dominate the next month. There's always next month. And one thing that helped with that, I forget if Eddie or Jason said it, but, they said sales guys have bad months. Really, measure yourself in quarters. So that's what I've been trying to do kind of my whole career here. Bad months happen, unfortunately, and you know that.
The best of the best have slumps.
And, you go into slumps, but you can't let that bad month dictate your next 2 months. It's always kind of that mindset that you have to break out of it, and you're one, client away from changing your whole mindset again and being at the top of your game. And just the support that I had from, Jason and Eddie and Gia and Johnny Crawford, now that he's here, it never felt like somebody was watching me over my shoulder, like, hey, oh man, your numbers are really down, like, what are you doing wrong, like, step it up. It was always proposed to, hey, what's going on, like, do you want us to listen to your calls, do you want to have some helpful tips, and that really makes a huge difference than where you would be in a corporate world where it's all just numbers and focus like that, because in a way I would respond negatively to that pressure.
Most do, right?
Kind of like I don't want to curse, but like a F you, you know what I mean? Like I know what I'm doing and I'm just having a hard time right now. But the way that it's portrayed here and the way that, you guys approach the situation is much better, because, it's an open door policy. I mean, countless times, how many times have I come in to you or Jason and said, hey, anything I'm doing out on the floor that you can hear that, I might need to tweak. And that's actually what got me out of one of my worst slumps. was kind of getting back into that routine of the fast talking Johnny, and Eddie was kind of like, listen, he was like, let's just slow it down a little bit. He said, he gave me experiences from his past. He said, I've done that, and I've caught myself going back into that fast talking, salesman mode. And he said, let's just try to cut it back, maybe write a note and say, hey, slow down. And I hopped right out of it.
And make some major changes.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing, and that's one thing I'm learning in this business as well is you have to be constantly changing yourself and ready to adapt to learn and to proceed to be the best you can be. You can't stay stagnant and stay the best forever. I mean, someone else is getting better than you every day. So even if you have a lot of pride, which I consider myself a really prideful young man, sometimes you have to bite into that pride to grow a little bit. And this environment really gives you the chance and opportunity to lose yourself and find yourself again, I would say. So no, I was never never discouraged or never felt the need to quit or be down on myself.
Awesome. No, let me ask you this: how do you feel as though, as an employee here now for 2 years, just about, right? A little over 2 years.
Yeah, anniversary coming up in a month.
So, do you feel like you have like a voice at the table? Like, do you feel like something wasn't working that you could, talk to Jason, myself, or anybody on the team that it would actually be heard, or do you feel like it's more like how do you honestly feel about that? Yeah,
no, I appreciate the question, and absolutely. I mean, I have a few examples just that come right off the top of my head. Like first, when we introduced Pardot, I came directly to you and Jason, and in the end, I was probably, it was probably helping me more than I realized in the beginning. But I was very hands-on with my leads and very hands-on with my clients. I didn't want them getting secondary or third emails and texts.
Yeah. So Pardot, for those of you that don't know, it's an automation. Automation email system that works with our Salesforce, our CRM system, and it helps our sales reps with follow-up. Like a lot of times they're too busy to do follow-up, so it'll do some automation, second and third follow-ups with our clients. So we had automation tool, and that's what Nolan's referring to. So again.
Yeah, so I kind of had an issue because I wanted to make sure, I was touching all my clients, and I didn't want them to receive a second text or a second email by accident. So I brought it up to you and Jay, and immediately you guys said, well, you can stop the automation if you like. That's up to you.
We put something in place so you can click it and stop it.
Yes, so
shut it on and off.
You guys gave me full autonomy. Now going back on it, realizing, that was kind of when we had a lighter lead flow. So now the automation is huge for just beginning my day and going throughout all my processes. So I was wrong about that one, but still I had.
You're wrong at the time. You were
right.
You didn't have that many, so
right.
You still preferred to work it on your own.
Yep. So, but I still had that full autonomy to go in and do what I needed to do, how I felt would feel like I was getting better work done. And then, just another instance is. Anytime there was a lead source that wasn't working, I mean, you guys welcome us to tell you that.
Sure, we want the feedback. How else are we going to keep improving? If something's not working, you guys are on the front lines talking to our customers all day, every day. So anything that's going on, we want that feedback because that's the only way we're going to be able to figure things out and keep improving.
Right. I mean, but to play devil's advocate to that, some companies, might be maybe a more corporate structure or, just a place that's not qualified might say, stop complaining, just touch the leads,
Right.
Just get to
our
the
way or
leads.
the highway, right?
Yeah, get to the leads. But
look at the scoreboard.
Yeah,
the scoreboard.
Where once again, you guys prefer us to come in and say, hey, I can see this is working and this isn't working. And obviously you have your metrics and you can look at it and you can see as well. But it wasn't just solely based on metrics and numbers. They wanted feedback from the team as well. And then absolutely. Every Monday and Wednesday when we have a meeting, if there's anything ever on my mind or if I have an idea, to a certain way that we're going about things, full autonomy, tables open, doors open, say what you want to say. So no, I absolutely feel like I have a seat at the table, and I feel like my opinion's respected, and I like when Eddie or Jason ask me questions of what I think of some things, or what I think of lenders or leads, or how I've been acclimating to a new system. So no, I feel like we're all really involved, and that's how we kind of keep that that cycle rolling. And just have that open door policy.
No, I love
really
it. We don't believe in the micromanagement system. We don't think it works well, and we want our team to have full autonomy. And we go by the system. What you're doing is working. There's no reason to change it, right? We're going to give all the tools and like the playbook of what we know has been successful. But what I've learned over the last probably 5 to 10 years, one of the biggest lessons is the value in diversity, in the fact that everyone learns different, everyone excels in certain areas than others do, and everybody works differently. Like they learn differently, they work differently. Some people are good at certain things in certain sections, so it's not like a cookie cutter situation. That's why we want people to have their autonomy and work to their best ability, put them in the position that they're most comfortable working, and if they're doing well, there's no reason to change that. I've seen a lot of situations where reps had to conform, or employees had to conform to the structured system, and it just didn't work super well for them, and just needed, it actually made numbers worse by trying to put micromanagement in there. So yeah, we're a big believer in autonomy. We want the feedback, we welcome it, we want to keep improving our systems and processes to be the most efficient. So we do the best we can as far as that's concerned. So I appreciate you bringing it up, saying that we welcome your feedback and we want it, and we ask for it in some cases. So that's really important to know. No,
of course, yeah, and obviously, going back, I think I mentioned it in the beginning, just even working on deals and going towards things, and just the collective team effort between a rep, you and Jason, on any deal at any time. It's not just like we're taking this over.
3 heads are better than one.
Absolutely.
It's my philosophy.
And we all come to a conclusion that's best for the client, and we brainstorm and say, hey, what can we do with this? I mean, because there might be something that I thought was a good route for a client to take, and Eddie has another product that I didn't even think of, or Jason has another product that I didn't even think of, and we go down and we realize this was better for the client all along. So it's not just, there's never a fear for me going to them and saying, hey, let's brainstorm on this, let's think. Whereas maybe at another place of work, or another company, they would feel, oh, I can't tell my boss this because this is my job.
Yeah.
I should be doing this. It's very, very welcoming to know that it's just support. They're always there for us when we need help and when we need other ideas. So I think that's perfect. Like you said, 3 heads are better than one.
Yeah, you usually don't hear too many employees complain that they don't have enough support, that they have too much support, basically. No one really complains with too much support.
Absolutely.
So we try to be there, and I think the way we structure our management team to be total team support for everyone, I think it's been really beneficial for our team and helpful for everyone, including us, because we're involved in the loop. We know what's going on, and we're able to continue to help and add value, and it just contributes to a better overall client experience and better results for the company as well. How do you like the industry of what you're doing, like day to day? Like, how do you like working with business owners? Do you feel like you're helping them? Like, do you what do you like about the industry? What do you not like about it?
Yeah, no, I love it. It's a lot more rewarding than what I was doing before. I feel like this is yours right there. Nice. So I feel like it's a lot more rewarding than I was doing before. It was a lot of just numbers and following quotas. Here I feel like I can make a difference in people's lives, in a business owner's life. As you know personally, Ed, that a lot of the businesses out there and brokers and things, that kind of have the same company as QualiFi, same idea but not the same company.
Other brokerage firms.
Right, other brokerage firms don't really, maybe sometimes their client isn't the first thing on their mind. And with us, it's total client experience. That's our number one goal. So I really feel like every phone call I get on, I almost feel like a detective of sorts. The client's giving me their issues, and all the while they're giving me their issues and letting me know what's happening. In my brain, I'm creating a pathway of least resistance to get them to the best possible outcome. Whatever's going to be cheapest for them, whatever is going to be, solving their issue in the best way possible. If they needed a longer term, a shorter term, if they needed X amount of dollars, if they needed, maybe not a certain right of law on the contract, just anything that comes up in the sales process that they want to continue with, I feel as if I have full autonomy and just full control over helping them. And it just makes me feel like when I get a great review from a client, or just when after the deal funds, a client says, "Hey Nolan, thank you so much, you've been a great help, I can't wait to continue working with you." And then even reaching out during the holidays and just checking in how they're doing, and speaking to clients that I past worked with, it's just it feels rewarding, because it feels like, not that I made a new friend, but just another connections. I mean, connections make the world go round.
Yeah, it's all relationships.
And I've even had clients where I've introduced them to other clients of mine, and they've done business together. So even then, that feels rewarding. It just little by little, it feels like you're setting your place in the world, and I really enjoy that.
One thing for me is I love really learning about all the different industries and different types of business models. Like, I've learned so much just from still taking calls to this day, and just seeing how different industries operate, understanding who their clients are, who they're selling to, what their sales cycle is. Like, we've learned so much on just from every discovery call that we have with our clients. And I don't know about you, but for me, I love seeing how other business operate, whether it's a small mom and pop 5-10 employee company, or corporate company doing 50+ million in annual revenue. It's just really cool being able to understand how these businesses are operating, their strengths, their weaknesses, and then you make comparisons to how we're running things. But I actually enjoy diving deep with our clients and really learning all about their business. How about you?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had so many clients now at this point. I've done everything from restaurants, construction, finance. The list goes on and on. Yeah, but it's just, and one of the things that I even like the most is companies that are just new, like maybe 2 or 3 years. Yeah. I mean, that for me is kind of sometimes the most rewarding aspect of when I'm working with a client, is that company that's just kind of kicking up and just starting on the revenues, and you can tell that the dream is so fresh and so bright in their mind, and all they want to do is achieve it. And I feel blessed and excited that I get to be a part of that journey.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And they just need a little capital just to get to that next step. And you can hear the joy and excitement in their voice, and it's their dream. I mean, that's what they want for their life's plan.
Absolutely.
And for us to be able to play a part in that and help them out, truly is a blessing, and it's amazing. And
yeah, we know what it's, especially us, we know what it's like from a small business perspective, trying to grow QualiFi into a huge corporation. And we're all driven, passionate about it. We love our business, and every business owner's, it's their dream, like you said, and just being able to be a part of that. Like I always say, I feel blessed to play a small role in the growth of your company. And that's pretty much rewarding to me as well. Like, we're just, helping people accomplish their dreams. Hence our tagline, our new tagline, borrow, build, believe, right?
Yep.
We want to encourage entrepreneurs to believe in their dream, believe in their passions, and just push through and make it a reality. We're here to help them do that.
Of course. No, yeah, absolutely.
If you were to think back on your whole journey here now of just about 2 years, I know it's not easy, but if you could pick one valuable thing that you learned here on that can help you in your personal life, or anything that would stand out, not to put you on the spot, but is there one thing that you could think of that would be if you had to choose one thing that you've learned in this journey? It could be business or personal, but something that really had an impact on your life in a good way.
Yeah.
Or maybe your future career.
No, absolutely. And it's something that I think about, and just going back to the open door policy and the way that we're structured here, and that family environment. One thing is, when I started, I did have a lot of pride, and I don't want to ask anybody for help. I want to act like I know it all and I have everything down. But just don't be afraid to ask for help. That's why everybody's here. They're here to help you. It's not embarrassing, or you're not lesser than somebody because you're asking for help. It's a part of a team goal. It's bigger than yourself. Step out of your own ego and understand that it's for the greater good. I'm not just handling what's best for Nolan. I'm also handling what's best for my client. I'm doing a disservice to my client if I'm not asking for help. So I would say even, and then that goes for my personal life too. Sometimes being too prideful can be a killer, and it really just changes your mind. You don't have to be embarrassed to ask for help, and learning that here and seeing the open door policy, and seeing how when I asked for help, how much better it turned out if I didn't.
No,
On the opposite side. So I would say that just don't be afraid to ask for help, and that's helped in my career as well as my personal life.
Yeah, we learn every day. I still go to training myself every week, and I actually genuinely get something from it every single week. We have lessons learned. We call them aha moments. So you don't know what you don't know, and that journey in life just never ends, and we just continue to be our better selves every day forward. And over the next, I'd say 12 to 24 months, in the next year to 2 years, where do you see yourself, in this journey? Do you have any goals for over the next 1 to 2 years? Where would you want to see yourself? Anything you want to try to achieve or accomplish?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going back to my competitive nature, and obviously my colleagues know I love them to death, so it's nothing like that, but I want to be number one. I want to be on the top of the rankings every month, every quarter, every year, just because that's the kind of person I am. And it has nothing to do with, being better than anybody.
It's friendly competition.
It's just something that that drives me. That's one of my internal motivators, is to be number one. So hopefully in 12 months to a year, I can climb that ladder, be back at number one like I was. And just really watching this amazing company grow. I mean, the turnaround we've had in just a year and 6 months, is incredible to witness day in and day out. And sometimes you get caught in the hustle and bustle, and you don't even.
We were down and out in the spring and summer of 2023. It was an up and down year. We were going through some challenges. I'm sure you guys seen it in us.
Of course.
We were stressing every day, trying to figure out what was going on, but we kept our heads down and we kept pushing through, and we knew it was going to end eventually. But that was really challenging for us to fight through, and I'm sure you guys were feeling a little bit of that too, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And once again, it was never an overwhelming pressure, but everybody can tell, and just continue on and writing that story. And I feel lucky and blessed to be here from the beginning, and writing the chapters with everybody as we go on. So
yeah, that's awesome. Jenny feels the same way. She got to experience that whole. I think she's learned so much. They're so young. You guys are.
Absolutely.
Fresh out of college, to be able to go through the trials and tribulations and the ups and downs. It's a huge experience just to learn from and continue to learn from. Never give up. No,
of course. And just as the years pass on and as we grow, I'm looking forward to being a part of the journey, and one of the original 12 disciples. See if we can.
That's it. And the competition's definitely stepped up. We have probably the best team we've ever put together in the finance industry since I've been in the space since 2013. Nolan's a great addition to the team. Obviously the first man, the OG, but he's definitely got his work cut out for him. And we're happy having a bunch of first and second place winners here. So it's all about just everybody keep pushing and winning. We win together as a team. It's not a one-man effort. We're going to do everything as a team. We're going to build this company as a team. And that's just the way it's going to be. And we're going to celebrate together. We're going to go through the ups and the downs together. And when we get hit with those blows, we're going to all come together and try to put a plan together and figure out what it is and fight our way through it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. But, appreciate you having me on finally. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. Another episode of Unfinished Business in the History Books. Thanks for coming. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, guys. Thanks.